everyone and welcome back to Junyoung Plays. My name is Logan and today welcome back to Breath of the Wild. So in today's video we are going to be exploring Mount Lanayru and then afterwards we're going to be challenging our first divine beast. I'm very excited to get started, here we go. Exploring Mount Lanayru can be very treacherous because it's very cold up on top of the mountain. Just by wearing the warm doublet will not help you. You will have to do one of two things. You can either eat food to increase your cold resistance or find a fire weapon to strap onto your back. The fire weapon will keep you warm all the way on top of the mountain. The weapon I chose is called the fire rod, and you can get the fire rod from any fire whiz robe that you find out in the wild. Unequipping the fire rod will result in freeze damage up here, so make sure that you either eat food or keep it on you at all times. Also on Mount Lanayru, you will come across elemental enemies, and these enemies are more dangerous and stronger than its original counterparts. There are a couple ways in which you can deal with these elemental foes. The first such way is to do it the old-fashioned way, swinging your sword until the enemy is defeated. The second such way is to use an elemental-based attack based on their weakness. For example, this Ice Breath Lizalfos that I'm fighting right now, if you hit him with a fire attack, they will instantly evaporate. One of the advantages of using an elemental weapon to defeat a elemental foe is that you don't need to worry about your other weapons losing durability. The only weapon that will lose durability will be the fire rod. As you make your way on top of Mount Lanayru, you'll stumble upon the attendant of the Spring of Wisdom, Nidra, the Blue Spirits. Nidra is currently infected with malice that was unleashed by Calamity Ganon. It's your job to make sure that you extinguish this malice in order to free Nidra from Calamity Ganon's control. In order to free Nidra, you first have to use your arrows to pop the eyes that are covering Nidra's body. Once all eyes have been removed, Nidra will return back to its former splendor. In order to get the Eyes of Malice off Nidra's body, you can ride an updraft that is created as Nidra flies around. Using this updraft, you can use your bow and shoot an arrow. As you shoot in the air, time will slow down, but as you guys can see, your stamina bar will fall down. There are a total of 4 Eyes of Malice located on Nidra's body, 1 on the head and 3 on the body. Hitting the head can be a little bit hard because Nidra is constantly in motion, so make sure you line up your shot before you commit to shooting the arrow. If you run out arrows, you will have to come back and try again. I took this very literally and decided to line up my shot right in front of Nidra, and as you can see, it didn't really end well for me. Silver lining, I was able to hit the last Eye of Malice on Nidra's body, and Nidra's body started to change back into its blue spirit form. After freeing Nidra, you will have the opportunity to shoot the cured spirit again with an arrow. No matter where you shoot the spirit, you will receive Nidra's scale. However, arrow placement will matter the next time you come across any one of the 3 dragon spirits. Hitting the head will result in a horn, hitting the mouth will result in a fang, hitting the body will give you a scale, and finally hitting the foot will give you a claw. You will need some of these materials to fully upgrade some of your armor sets. If you drop Nidra's scale inside of the Spring of Wisdom, it will start to reveal a shrine that's in the back. If you go into the shrine and complete it, you'll be able to use the praying statue located in the center of the Spring of Wisdom. Completing the shrine in the back of the Spring of Wisdom is pretty simple. All you really need to do is go up to this chest and loot it. Inside the chest you'll find the Frost Spear. At this point I've obtained 4 spirit orbs, and now I'm going to be using those 4 spirit orbs to get myself another heart container. Like I mentioned earlier on in this episode, I'm going to be challenging the first divine beast now. I'm very excited, here we go. But first we need to fly over to this tower over here so we can get a better idea on the landscape of this area. Once you climb the tower, you'll bump into the Zora Greaves, and Greaves is currently on this tower because he first fell asleep, and secondly, he's looking for a Hylian so he can send the Hylian down to Prince Sidon as he's waiting down by the bridge. As you get down to bridge level, a cutscene will play and you will be meeting Prince Sidon. Now, Prince Sidon is the brother of Mipha, who happened to be the champion of Divine Beast Ruta. Prince Sidon will ask you to meet him all the way over at Zora's domain. However, Zora's domain is a lot harder to reach because of the constant rain provided by Divine Beast Ruta. In order to get to Zora's domain, you have to go onto the path. Be aware that on the path there are monsters who have access to electrical items, such as shock arrows. If the shock arrows hit the puddles that are nearby your feet, it will explode out into a wide circle, making it very hard to dodge. There's 5 types of enemies that you will find on this trail. The first is the Water Octorok, which they will be spawning in the very beginning of the trail. While the Octoroks are not a threat in themselves, they're just very annoying. What you can do is you can just shoot them with an arrow, or you can perfectly parry their rocks back at them. The second enemy that you'll come across on this trail is the Lizalfos. Now the Lizalfos can come in their original or their blue state. One interesting fact about these Lizalfos in this area is that they'll always drop a bundle of 5 arrows. If you're running out of arrows, this is a great place to replenish your stock, so I would encourage you guys to come back after every blood moon. The next couple monsters you'll encounter on this path will be the electrical Kisi and the electrical Wizrobe. Bear in mind that these two enemies do not have an elemental weakness, so you're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Electrical enemies are very dangerous because if you get hit by any electrical attack, you will drop your equipped weapon. The best way to deal with electrical enemies is use a long-range weapon, so whether that be your bow, a spear, a two-handed blade, you can even use a remote bomb in case you don't want to use your weapon's durability. Finally, by the end of the trail, you will have the opportunity to fight against 3 moblins, 1 blue and the other 2 are its original form. Finally, you'll make it to Zora's domain, and the first thing you want to do in Zora's domain is go talk to the ruler of the Zora, King Dorphin. Like most of the elder characters in the game, King Dorphin will recognize Link as the Hylian champion. Unfortunately, during his slumber, Hylian relations with the elder Zora had deteriorated due to the death of the Zora champion Mipha. She was beloved by her people, and many of the elder Zora followed the Hylians for the tragedy. Eventually, you'll be able to convince the elder Zora Muzu to help you because of the Zora armor. In Zora tradition, the princess would make the armor specifically for the person they would marry. Seeing that it fit Link perfectly, Muzu agreed to point Link to where he can find shock arrows so he can take on Divine Beast Ruta. Once you climb up top of the mountain, you will find shock arrows, but you will also find a Lynel. Lynels are the most dangerous enemy in the game. They are very fast and very strong, and they can sense you from a mile away, so be very careful. Finding a Lynel at close range isn't suggested but doable, although it will cost you a lot of your weapon's durability, so bear that in mind. However, finding a Lynel at long range is equally as challenging. Lynel bows have an ability where they can shoot 3 arrows at a time, making it very hard to dodge. I would not suggest a new player to take on these monsters unless you have complete knowledge of how to handle them. Base level Lynels that are equipped with a sword will have up to 5 moves. They will swing their sword 3 times in quick succession, they can run and swing their sword, they can charge attack, shoot fireballs, or use a sword and shield attack. You can cancel out their fireball attack by hitting them in the head with an arrow. Immediately afterwards, you can jump onto their back and you are allowed to hit the Lynel 5 times. This is a great opportunity to use your best weapon to hit the Lynel 5 times while on its back because your durability of your weapon will not decrease. Taking these tips into consideration will make Lynel fights a lot easier for newer players. I hope you guys like this little quick tutorial of how to beat a Lynel in Breath of the Wild. It is also worth mentioning that if you talk to the Zora Laflat before you fight the Lynel, she will ask you to take a picture of the Lynel. Once you complete the mission, Laflat will give you the Zora Greaves. The Zora Greaves will allow you to swim like a Zora, meaning that your stamina while swimming will decrease more slowly. You will now have access to both the top and bottom half of the Zora set. Once you're ready to challenge Divine Beast Ruta, talk to Prince Sidon, located at the East Reservoir Lake. He will task you to shoot shock arrows at the pink orbs located on top of Divine Ruta's back. As Prince Sidon swims, Divine Ruta will defend itself and shoot ice blocks at you. Once you clear all the ice blocks, Prince Sidon will swim closer to Divine Beast Ruta, which will give you an opportunity to swim up the waterfall and shoot the pink orbs on its back. You can only swim up the waterfall if the Zora armor is equipped. As you are in the air, you will have the opportunity to take out orbs one at a time, or you can do it in one shot. Divine Beast Ruta's attack pattern will change depending on how many orbs you hit with the shock arrows. Once you hit all 4 pink orbs with shock arrows on Divine Ruta's back, Divine Ruta will now be boardable for Link to try to wrest control from Calamity Ganon's influence. Once you are on Divine Beast Ruta, you will gain access to the controls of the trunk. Once you have these controls, you can use these controls to find 5 terminals that are located all inside of the Divine Beast. The first terminal is easy enough to find. All you need to do is use the Magnesis rune and twist your controller around in a circle, lifting up the terminal out of the water so you can get access to it. The other 4 terminals can be accessed by using your other runes and control of the Divine Beast Ruta's trunk. Stopping the flow of water with the Cryosis rune will unlock one of the terminals on the first floor. Similarly, using the Stasis rune will unlock the terminal on the second floor. The other 2 terminals can be accessed by using the controls of Divine Beast Ruta's trunk. It is located outside on the trunk and the other is located inside of its head. Once you get the one on the trunk, you can ride the trunk all the way up to the head. Once inside the head, open it up with the Magnesis rune and get the water from the trunk to extinguish the fire surrounding the last terminal. Once you have all 5 terminals, head to the control panel in the back of Divine Beast Ruta. Before you can move on, Malice will start to seep out of the terminal and form into Warblight Ganon. It is a creation of Ganon that defeated Mipha 100 years ago. Now it's my turn. I'm confident in my abilities. How hard can this be? This is not going well. This is not going well at all. Well, dang. I've been humbled. Some helpful tips that you can take away from this fight is that you want to fight it from a distance and then run in for more damage. Shooting an arrow at Warblood Ganon's weaknesses, which will be the eye or the horn, will stun it and you can run in for some extra damage. Warblood Ganon has a weakness to guardian weapons, so if you have any, use them while it's stunned. After you get Warblood Ganon's health down to about halfway, it will enter its second phase. It will raise up the water level in the room, decreasing your mobility to 4 floating platforms. There are a couple ways you can avoid its attacks. You can use the Cryosis Rune to block the spear, or you can dive off the platform, although I wouldn't really recommend this. However, it does give you really cool close call shots. After you strike the final blow to Warblood Ganon, it will explode and reward you with a heart container for free. You can then access the main terminal with your Sheikah Slate. After, you will be visited by the ghost of Mipha, and she'll give you Mipha's Grace. Think of this power as an overpowered fairy that's rechargeable over time. As a reward for rescuing all of Zora's domain from flooding, you will receive the Lightscale Trident, Mipha's weapon of choice. If you break this weapon, don't worry, you can repair it by using a Zora Spear, 5 flint, and a diamond. You can find the Zora Spear in the middle of the trail leading up to Zora's domain. As for flint, it is easily acquired by breaking ore deposits. Diamonds can be difficult to obtain. You can get lucky breaking rare ore deposits, or it's much easier to talk to Leto and trade 10 luminous stones for a diamond. Once you have brought all the necessary equipment, go and talk to Dento, and Dento will be able to recreate the Lightscale Trident. This is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for enjoying this series. I know I'm enjoying the series so much. Leave a like, drop down a comment, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one.